Well, Yordan Alvarez is racking up the awards as the season we know has come to a close. We're going to talk about this deserved accolade for him, the highs and the lows of his 2024 season. So let's get going right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at h-vac on X, Instagram, and TikTok. That's Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and at Back to the Bullpen on X, on iHeartRadio, on Instagram, and YouTube, where I'm always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Wherever you find us, go ahead and check us out, and you can go ahead and check out the Locked On MLB podcast as well. Sully always does a great job over there. And today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball's rivals. So book today at Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. So Yordan Alvarez was nominated for the Hank Aaron Award. It's for the best hitter in the league. It's kind of like the Huysman Award for college football. So it's just something that it typically goes to one that has the best offensive numbers all around. We know that there are some other players in the American League that have some better seasons than Alvarez, but he was one of 10 players nominated. So this does mean something. This means something, especially with some of the time he's missed. I still don't think we've seen the full potential from Alvarez in a full season, and I think that if he can stay healthy for a full season, I know he didn't miss too much time, but he still missed some time this year. But I think that the Astros did a good job locking him up long term. Unfortunately, the Astros didn't get to see some of his success that he has in the playoffs. I'll go and share some numbers a little bit. But we wanted to take this moment to reflect back on Yordan Alvarez this season.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he ranked among top 10 in the big leagues in average with 308, on-base percentage 392, the OPS of 959. He lowered his strikeout rate to a career best 15%. So I think that's amazing. I think that strikeout rate actually speaks volumes to the kind of player he is. Speaking of strikeout rate, I don't know if you saw this, but I was yes. watching the Yankees game, and I actually tweeted about it. Aaron Judge tonight surpassed Martin Maldonado with the highest strikeout rate in playoff history. I think it's 34.5% or something like that. And so, he's got more strikeouts than Maldi. Wow. That's crazy to think about. But Yordan Alvarez.
To give Martin Maldonado credit, he had 200 plate appearances in the playoffs. So give him some credit there.
Yeah, but it's still funny that Aaron Judge's name is more synonymous with Martin Maldonado than any other player in postseason history. Shoot, Bobby Witt Jr., they were naming him with guys like DiMaggio and Williams. So, I mean, look, there's some historical things going on, but Yordan Alvarez, he had one of those years where Eric, at times, he was absolutely brilliant. He was just, he's Yordan Alvarez. He wasn't necessarily hitting the long ball at one point, but he was hitting for average. He went on a little bit of a tear, and then we had the knee thing pop up at the end. And we still don't know the full extent of it. They still haven't shared with us anything of significance. Yordan basically said, hey, it's my business. I don't want to talk about it. And then you had, I think it was a Freudian slip. I don't think it was anything definitive or medical, but you had Mauricio Dubon say, yeah, Yordan has a broken knee. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd say that. Like, I think he was just speaking kind of off the cuff. It was after their loss. But the Houston Astros need Yordan Alvarez to be healthy. They need Yordan Alvarez to be the hitter that he is. And it makes you wonder going forward, is he going to be relegated to a DH soon? You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't know how much he can take. And we won't know the full extent of everything going forward until they say, okay, this is what happened. But he had a few games this year where he had some multi-home run games. But I love that we get to talk about Yordan Alvarez being a Houston Astro, and we'll forever be grateful to the Dodgers for taking Josh Fields off our hands and giving us this gift of a man.
Right. And that was probably one of the best trades in Astros history. I know we got Jeff Bagwell for Larry Reynolds. Larry Anderson.
Larry Anderson. But, to Larry Anderson's credit, he was a better relief pitcher at the time than Josh Fields. So the Red Sox actually filled a need that helped them that year versus Josh Fields. I didn't hear much about him after that postseason.
From what I understand, the Dodgers had two guys named, I don't know if they're both named Yordan Alvarez, but
no, they had another Alvarez player. Yes.
Yeah. So I think they probably just got confused and probably sent the Astros the wrong guy. That's what I've heard.
No, because they asked them. It was a pitcher in AA, and I do not remember his first name. And they said, "You mean the pitcher?" And they're like, "No, we want the kid in Cuba." And they're like, "Well, he hadn't played a game for us. That's okay. We want him." And I mean, look, the book on him then was he didn't have much power. He was tall, lanky, skinny. Have I ever shown that picture of Yordan at the age of 17? I'll actually, you know what? I'll load it in the show and I'll show everybody what Yordan Alvarez looked like at the age of 17.
Yes. So I'm looking back. I just looked up Yordan Alvarez's knee just to see, and it's going back to 2020 when he was after his surgery. He was running in a treadmill and everything. So he's come a long way. And he did have that knee contusion, and that led to some. Then he had that slide a little bit later on. That slide that a lot of people said, well, that didn't look like it was a bad slide, but it still cost him some time. He was able to come back for the playoffs, and Alvarez said right before the playoffs start, he said it's not about percentages. He is running on pure adrenaline just to get even in the playoffs. And for him to be hitting the way he did in playoffs, it wasn't enough. Of course, the Astros lost, but we saw what Tariq Skubal did against the Guardians today, and he took care of business. And to show how closers you can't trust in fantasy baseball, you can't trust closers, and also in the playoffs, you can't trust closers because Emmanuel Clase, one of the best closers in baseball, he gave up 3 runs and cost the Guardians that game. So the Tigers won game 2, 3-0. And so Skubal did good. So it's just a matter of the Tigers either going to win with their pitching or they're going to lose with their pitching. But you can't always depend on the bullpen. So go and put that picture up.
No, yeah. Here is Yordan Alvarez at 17 playing for Los Tunas. Look at that. Look at that. Knock-kneed, skinny. Look at it. I mean, he has not grown into his body. His legs are longer than his. I love this picture. This is from Phil Seelig. I believe it's a friend of his. Phil was with Cuba Dugout. We need to get him on in the offseason to talk about Cuban prospects if the Astros have anything on the horizon. But Yordan Alvarez, literally, he's a 17-year-old kid. He's a giant 17-year-old kid. But you love what he's done for the Astros. When I had the opportunity this year, Eric, to talk to him in his first rehab start, I couldn't have been more impressed with his demeanor, with his directness. He's a no-holds-barred kind of guy. And when Yordan says he's going to play, he's going to play. And when he doesn't the next day, I guarantee someone said, yeah, you're not playing. But Yordan wants to be out there on the field. He is one of these players that thrives off of playing and being in the game all the time. And you just hope that this offseason they get it right because, a few multi-home run games, he had 4 2-home run games. He had a 3-run home run game. But you would like to see more of that. You would like to see less worry about the knees. And does that mean being regulated to DH? or only playing in left field when he's at Minute Maid Park kind of thing? What kind of restrictions are they going to put on it going forward?
Yeah, we'll go and talk about what he said after the playoffs, and we'll talk. Go and continue this conversation. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
This episode of Locked On Astros brought to you by Booking.com. Go to Booking.com today. Yeah, that's right. Booking.com wants to make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rival city, New York, LA, Chicago, Seattle, Arizona, well, Phoenix, because Arizona is a state. It doesn't matter where you go in the U.S., they've got you set up. They've got options from resorts to bed and breakfast to hotels that overlook stadiums. I mean, where can you go wrong? We know you've secretly been wanting to go to New York or Boston or LA or Chicago. Well, look no further than Booking.com. They deliver exactly the right stay for you here in the U.S., and they can help you book a stay that's close to your home team or your rival stadium. No matter what the team or who you're rooting for, go to Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival's city. Booking.com. Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out. Go ahead and check out Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast. He does a great job as well. So we know that during the playoffs, Alvarez admitted that he was wearing a brace on his right knee, and he said he was adjusting and getting loose, and he said it helps a ton. He didn't really feel any pain. And also he also said that he doesn't anticipate having to have any type of surgery over the offseason. So this is something that he hopes to rehabilitate and maybe do physical therapy, and just hopefully everything's going to be okay. So I don't think this is going to limit his 2025, but the knee has been a big issue, especially in 2021 season. So this is something that fans have to watch out for. But when this guy has everything going for him, he's one of the best hitters in the game. But he does go through some slumps, especially with the power department. There was a month this year, I believe, that he only had 2 home runs in 1 month, right?
Yeah. When you look through, let's see, September, he had 7 home runs, and August he had 8 home runs. I believe it was July. No, he had 4 in July. June he had 7. Oh, right here, May he had 2. He had 2 home runs in May. He hit 282. His best month, it looks like, was actually August, where he hit 382. Eric, this is he didn't hit. I mean, he hit 8 home runs. They were spaced out, but he he hit 5 home runs. 6 home runs in a matter of like 5 games between the Texas and Boston series. He was on a tear. Philadelphia, he goes August 28th, 4 for 4, 3 runs, 3 home runs, 4 RBI. The most RBI he got all season was the 6 RBI he got in September versus Arizona, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. Was actually at that game. Unbelievable. It's just great when he is in sync, locked in, hitting home runs, contributing. But home runs aren't the only thing he hits, Eric. I mean, he hits all over the field. He hits for average, 286, 804, 429 slugging, 375 on base percentage. And he just, when he's in the lineup, he's a guy that nobody wants to face. And so you really hope that this next year is even better. One of the most torrid hitters against left-handed pitchers. Get this, left-handed pitchers, 362 with 10 home runs, but he has 25 home runs versus right-handers and hitting 280. Now, he does have twice as many at-bats, but he's hitting an OPS of 1,029 and a measly 924 versus right-handers. So it doesn't really matter what side of the rubber you're pitching from, Yordan Alvarez is going to go out there. But when he's in the lineup, when Tucker's healthy, when Yordan is healthy, this is one of the most fierce left-handed hitting lineups. And if they've got Victor Caratini for another year, you know, he can be a lefty. Do they go out and get another lefty? What are they going to do in the offseason? We'll just have to see. But he's a fun player to watch for sure.
And if you look at what he's done, his OPS plus was up from last year, but it was down from his 2022 season where it was at 188. It was at 172 this year. That was his third highest of his career. His rookie year, he was at 173. And his rookie season, he came on strong, had 27 home runs. But over his career, he's batted 298 with 164 home runs. Career 298 batting average, but he's got a lot of accolades already. Rookie year, he's finished in top 3 and MVP once. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's got a Silver Slugger. So this guy probably can get better, but what he's done in playoffs is actually pretty good as well. He's batting 294 with 63 hits, 12 home runs, 41 RBIs, and 39 runs scored in 60 postseason games.
Wow.
In the World Series, he's batting 200 with 12 hits, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 8 runs scored in 19 World Series games. So,
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to, and you know, you talked about his 2022 season, Eric. That was his highest WAR output as well, 6.8. And this year, he was under that 5.4, his second highest there. You just look at his walks, you look at his average. I mean, he hit 308 this year, Eric. Eric, he played in more games this year than he's ever played. 3 more games than he played in 2021, 147. So that I think is huge, Eric, because, you know, you said, I think he's getting better. I mean, he's showing that he's getting better. The more games he played, he hit 308. That's his highest average. He got his highest average in the year where he played the most
313 rookie year.
Yeah, but that was only 87 games played. So I'm talking about like playing this much of full season. So let me, you know, correct the record. When you look at his full seasons from 21 to 24, he's played in the most games this year. Right. 308 is his highest average by 2 points from 2022. You mentioned was a great year. And dude, the postseason stuff, like you mentioned, is great. I mean, 12 home runs in the postseason, Eric, a 944 OPS. Dude, in 23, a 1487 OPS, and 21, a 1023 OPS. One of his lowest OPS, was 2019, but thank you, Siri. But 2021, he also had a low OPS. So these numbers go back and forth, but there's not many people that can match just the presence that he is in the respect that he commands when he's in the box.
Yeah, and just to go back to what he did in 2019 as a rookie, I think that's almost more impressive than what he did in a regular season, because he did that as a rookie coming out of nowhere. And the fact that the Astros needed him that season, he batted 313 with a 1067 OPS, then a 173 OPS plus. The pitchers did not have an answer for him that season. So yes, I see what you're saying. Over a long stretch of time, he was able to dominate a little bit more in 2022, but for being a rookie at 22 years old, from what he did in his rookie season is impressive. But the fact that the league has definitely has adjusted to him, he's adjusted several more times. Right. And but there just always seems to be that period of time where it seems like he goes through a power outage. And every year he goes through this. And I don't know if he's trying to go for more power, more average or something, and kind of forgets how to hit the long ball. Or he just goes through a slump. Even the best hitters go through slumps.
Well, I think, too, this last weekend I got to be a part of this home run derby. It was unreal talking to Andrew Jones and Rafael Palmeiro, Jose Canseco, all these former stars. And some people would say has-beens, but they're still legit major league stars, Josh Reddick. And the conversation I had with several of these guys, this guy called The Natural, who actually won the home run derby, he's a former player, and this dude can hit tanks. And They were like, people forget hitting a baseball is the hardest thing, even in a home run derby. And you have guys that they have home run power, but every home run hitter that I've ever seen interviewed will not tell you that. They will tell you, I'm not trying to hit a home run. I'm just trying to put the bat on the ball. Chipper Jones famously said that he was trying to drive the ball through the center field wall. He wanted to hit the ball through the center field wall mid-height. And that was his goal, and the ball went out. Mark McGwire famously said, I'm not trying to hit home runs. I'm just swinging the bat. And now you can tell when guys are loading up and getting that extra kick and trying to really plant that front foot and launch one. But true home run hitters aren't up there trying to hit home runs. They just swing the bat. And, sometimes those balls get under the barrel and you ground out. They get a little over the barrel and you top spin them and you do a pop up. And I think that's what happens with Yordan, because he said himself, I don't change my approach ever. I do the same thing every time.
Brett, in a second, somebody just asked a great question. What's his stats for his career when he plays in the field and when he plays DH? So we're going to continue this conversation next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com today and check out what they have going for you. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. Well, let me tell you about the Texans versus Patriots in Foxborough. Man, they are hot 4-1 early on the season. The Texans minus 7.5 over on 30.5 points. The New England Patriots plus 7.5 and under 38.5 points, plus 270 on the Texans, plus 220 on the Patriots. Things are going crazy. And also, so you don't go crazy, when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. You can go to the live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You don't have to go to all these other websites. So check it out. Go to FanDuel.com today, America's #1 sports book. What time is it? It's game time, baby. I've been telling y'all about game time all year long, and the Astros may be done, but you got the Rockets, you got the Texans, theater events, whatever it is you want to do. Look, they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that basically takes the guessing out of tickets. You don't have to spend just all this time going through thousands of tickets. You tell them what you want. They search the best deals for you. Instead of thousands of tickets, you just look up a few, and it will lead you right down the golden road. That's right. You're going to get these curated deals to make it easier for you to find. And the seat views before the event are there. The lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, the best and most flexible customer service plan out there. And if you find tickets at a cheaper price in the same row in the same section, they'll credit your account 110% the difference. So right now, our first-time customers, what happens is you download the Game Time app, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Hey guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. Brett, I know you got some stats for us, but I went to StatCast real quick, Baseball Savant, and I've got a couple of numbers for us. So if you're looking at the MLB percentile rankings for Yordan Alvarez, he is 95th percentile in terms of average exit velocity. If you're looking at barrel percentage, he's 92nd percent. Hard hit percentage, he's at 93. Bat speed, he's at 97th percentile, which is pretty high. If you're looking at strikeout rate, he's 88. Walk rate, 82. But his ex-WOBA, he's in the 99th percentile with a 414. And expected batting average is at 98th percentile, 305. Expected slugging percentage is at 99th percentile at 608 as well.
Yeah, definitely. So this year he actually kind of brought these two numbers together, the playing in the field or DHing, and this is what we got. Left field, 322, 391 on base percentage, 563 slugging 954 OPS. Look at this, higher OPS as DH. Of course, he DH'd more, but he 22 home runs, 46 RBI, 300 batting average, on base percentage 393, slugging 569, OPS 962. I mean, Eric, it used to be 100-point difference. It literally was 100-point drop off whenever he became DH. Maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is how you give him longevity in his career. If Yordan Alvarez can match the production at the plate as a designated hitter, there's no reason that you have to worry about risking him playing in the field. Our whole campaign for him playing in the field when Dusty Baker was here was because, like I said, I think it was like an 85 to 100-point difference in batting average alone. Now, I don't know if the power numbers waned. I don't know enough about the OPS and all that stuff. But you know what that means, Eric? That means he's maturing. He's getting better. And he's aging well at the plate. So we just got to keep him healthy. And I think the rest will take care of itself. Thank you for asking the question.
And David asked, did Alvarez even flip one in Crawford boxes this year? I looked at StatCast, and it does show at least one that I could tell. I believe it was the two. There are a couple that hit off the wall, especially one.
Right.
That hit over by the bullpen that would have been home run, but yes, he's not trying to hit that way. He's more of a pull hitter, but every once in a while he will try to take advantage of the short porch.
Yeah, definitely, and that's when a pitcher tries to leak one over the outside part of the plate and he hits it and he obliterates any baseball that he comes in contact with. So you know what? I'm super glad about that. But I think you ask here, does his knee injury affect 2025? I just think they're going to look to put him at DH more, if I'm being honest. And these numbers for right now show me that I don't have a problem doing that. And the question, can he get better? Absolutely, he can get better. I mean, I'm still waiting for Yordan to be healthy a whole season and hit 50 home runs. I think he can do it. I know he can do it. But who's going to be around him? How are they going to construct the lineup going forward? How many more years does he have to be one of the many threats versus a lone threat? You know what I'm saying? He's got Altuve. He's got the convenience of having Diaz having a career year. Diaz improving, Tucker when he's healthy in there, Bregman. Now Bregman may be gone. Pena is kind of up and down. This lineup's going to look a little different next year, and they're probably going to depend on some young bats to come in. And so does that make him less vulnerable? I don't know. But if him and Tucker are healthy, they're going back to back. You won't see them split up. I don't say ever again, but very rarely will they, because the spotter really likes that.
All right, so I want to get back to the Hank Aaron Award that Alvarez was nominated for.
Yeah.
Who else is up for it? You have Alvarez, of course. Then you have Jarren Duran with the Red Sox. You have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the Blue Jays. You have Gunnar Henderson with the Orioles. You have some guy named Aaron Judge with the Yankees. Jose Ramirez with the Guardians. Brent Rooker with the A's. Then you have Anthony Santander with the Orioles, and then you have some guy named Juan Soto with the Yankees.
Some guy and
some guy that everybody wants Astros to sign. Then you have another guy with the Royals who's, I guess, kind of good, Bobby Witt Jr. So that's a big list of names. So a lot of these guys have had a lot better season. I did see a funny X post. Somebody said it was like two people fighting over a tire float, and they said this is Gunnar Henderson and Yordan Alvarez fighting over a float at in Cancun, and I thought that was funny.
Wow.
So
yeah, I guess so. Look, man, I can't wait. I'm getting my shirt probably any day now. I ordered the shirt that Mark over at Ram Shirts made, and it said I hate both teams or something like that, like I'm not going to cheer for any team.
I'm not rooting for either team or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I can't wait to get that shirt in the mail because, I want both teams to lose. That's what it is. So I hope that gets in so I can wear that throughout the rest of the playoffs. And I think I'm going to be wearing that almost on a daily basis. Jesse asked, Brett, is Bregman really leaving? Or is it still up in the air? I mean, it's up in the air. There's been no discussions. We don't know. Look, anybody right now that says they know, they don't know. The only people that know is Boris and Bregman. And Bregman's probably not even really talking about it right now. I mean, he's probably just enjoying his son, enjoying Knox and his family. And so I'm pretty sure he hadn't really thought much about it, but Scott Boras definitely is.
Yeah, I think the Astros are thinking about it. They're putting their heads together. They're trying to decide. They don't want to see the Astros without Alex Bregman, but at the same time, they don't see the Astros without Kyle Tucker. So they got to make a decision about which one's going to stay, which one's going to go. So we're going to continue this conversation throughout the whole offseason. Like I said, we're not going to answer all the problems in one episode. That's why you got to continue tuning in to every Locked On Astros podcast where we're going to tackle all these discussions all off season. So guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. Go and check out Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast as well. He does a great job covering the postseason, and go Tigers for right now. Beat the Yankees. Then no, not the Guardians, and whoever's playing the Yankees, the Royals, beat the Yankees. And then we'll go and see you tomorrow. And Brett, what do we always say?
We hope both teams lose. Oh, go Stros.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, man, I root for... What? What is going on over there? Oh, my gosh, Eric.